Alright, Cookster here, another video on my 69 C10. As you can see, I've done body work and primed the area here where I welded this patch in. Did the same thing to the other side. I had another intro for this video filmed before I wiped it with filler and put the primer on it, and I lost it. Either I didn't press the record button or I did something stupid, I don't know. Anyway, I lost it, so I'm having to reshoot another intro. So here it is after I primed it. You know, I haven't block sanded the primer, but it's basically done other than block sanding. So anyway, we'll get into the video. And by the way, you don't pay no attention to the door over here. I'm working on the doors, but pretend you hadn't seen that yet. So anyway, on to the video that I actually shot footage for. So you saw me make the repairs up here. I welded this piece back in, welded this piece in. There's a weld seam all down through here. Earlier I had made patches and welded rust repair patches in here. I had to put a patch up here. I put a plug in here. I've done a lot of work on here. I also did a lot of work up here that obviously I've already covered with filler. So what I started doing, and I was trying to record it, and I don't know, I hit the wrong button or it didn't record or something. Anyway, so I've already put fiberglass. This is the chopped reinforced kitty hair fiberglass. I've already put that on and sanded that down. These are where my welds were, and then in here, and then I had a weld seam right here. There's still a few little pinholes left that I didn't fix, and I'm not sure why I didn't fix them. I'm usually really diligent about getting in there and finding them and fixing them all when I'm welding. I did miss a few. It's also kind of wavy right here, so it was a little bit thick for body filler, maybe 1/8 of an inch-ish in that range. Fiberglass is waterproof, so the pinholes won't soak through, and it's a little bit better in thicker situations. So I just put fiberglass in here. I just got through sanding that. I got in all this. So now I got to wipe a small skim coat of regular body filler and block it down. It'll be ready for primer. On the driver's side, did the same thing on this weld seam, and then I had a weld seam here and here. This stuff is already dried, and I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos, this fiberglass filler, when it dries, it's hard as a rock. It is hard to sand. My normal method for working this stuff is to put it on and let it dry and come back and hit it with a grinder. Now I block sanded that down because I caught it in time when it hadn't hardened up good. The time I got over here, this stuff's hard as a rock. So I'm going to do what I don't very often get a chance to show this technique. What I'm going to do is get in here with my little 3-inch grinder and some 36. Yeah, I said 36. Get in here and just knock it down, and then if it's straight enough, I'll come back and hit it with a block. If it's not, which it probably won't be, I'll come back and put a skim coat on that. I got to sand this by hand because I can't fit a tool down in there. But I was just going to show doing this right quick. I don't get a chance very often to show doing that, and it's a different technique. So hold on, I'll get the camera set up. Alright, the trick to doing this, there's not many cases where you get a chance to grind filler with this small of a disc. This is my 3-inch roll-off. Normally it'd be a 5-inch grinder. I even got an 8-inch disc that I've ground a lot of filler with, fixing big stuff. Back in my body shop working days, I ground a lot of filler. Roughed a lot of filler in with a grinding disc. Anyway, the trick is to get the pad as flat as you can without completely flat, because you know you can't put it on here completely flat. It's just going to chew it all up, and it won't. You can't control it. So whichever side you want to grind on, whether it's the top half or the bottom half, I generally do the top half. You could do the bottom half in various cases you need to. But use the top half of the disc and keep it as flat as you can. Don't angle it in real far. Don't try to, walk it back and forth, because you're going to make gouges and dig it in. Let me see. I got the camera. I guess you can see. Yeah. I'm not wearing a mask so I can talk, but I'm being careful not to breathe this stuff in. I'm holding my breath and stuff, and it's alright. I'll be alright. So here we go. Now, the thing I don't want to do, and I've mentioned before, I do not want to grind off all my epoxy primer. I want to try to get down just close to it, and then I'll finish it up by hand, more than likely. We'll see how that does. Sometimes that doesn't work. We'll just see how it goes. See, I'm just grinding with the top this edge right here, and do not run the grinder wide open. You can't control that. You know, slow speeds. I'm working the middle area down first before I get to the edge. That's how you kind of feather edge it. This doesn't seem really low, so I'm trying to get it quick. Alright, I'm going to block it now and see how straight I can get it. I'm not trying to get this area perfect. All I wanted to do was fill in a few little... I'm not trying to get this area perfect. All I wanted to do was fill in a few little pinholes that were here in my welds. And then, you know, straighten out these lumps and bumps where I ground it and welded it. And like I said, this stuff is hard to rock now. It's extremely difficult to sand. My paper's wore out too, that ain't helping, but I'm being stubborn about changing it. All I gotta do is finish this. Yeah, I'm really bearing down hard. You hear me grunting and all. I'm getting on it pretty hard. This stuff's hard to rock now. But anyway, I'm going to sand this up here by hand off camera, finish sanding this. I'll come back and put a little filler on it and then we'll go from there. Alright, before I wipe my body filler, I just wanted to show you, here's my weld seam where I welded this patch together. It come out pretty good. A little bit of filler in the welds. But all in all, I wouldn't call it metal finished, but it came out better than I expected it to. The weld seam is right here somewhere. Of course, the front one, like I showed, it was pretty rough, so it took quite a bit of filler to fix the front one. And on this side over here, there's the weld seam again, is right in here. Not a lot of filler. Dang, not a lot of filler to fix that right up. If this was the exterior of if this was an exterior panel that showed, I'd have to block it and hammer and dolly it a whole lot more. But just to hide the welds, it didn't take a whole lot to do that. Pretty happy with that. And again, the front, you know, again, that's a flat weld. I sucked it in on purpose a little bit to get the filler in there, but it's not deep. It's just enough there to level it out. Not perfectly flat, but you know, like I said, you're never going to see it because the fender blocks it off. So what I'm going to do now is wipe. So what I'm going to do now is wipe a little body filler, the regular body filler, the rags that I use. There's a few little low spots here. The regular body filler just sands and blocks so much nicer. So I'm going to wipe a little bit of filler on here and probably a little bit in here and here. Maybe that side, if I haven't. That side's actually okay the way it is, except for kind of right along up in here. So we'll see if I have enough filler left. I'll probably put some over here too, because I need to. Anyway, so I will run the camera while I'm doing that. So just for the heck of it. So hang on, let me get my filler mix and we'll start wiping. Somebody forgot to turn the camera on. Oops. Let's see if it's set enough where I can start. Yeah, I can start roughing it in. It's not quite set yet, but I can knock the sticky off of it, like I call it. Start roughing it in a little bit. I kind of use this as the same. I kind of use this part of the process the same as a cheese grater. It's still pretty soft. You know, you can work it with a cheese grater. These are small areas, so a cheese grater doesn't really work that well with those small areas. You can definitely use your sandpaper. Start cutting it down. This again is 36. And this is not quite ready, but it's close. I cut back on the hardener because, you know, it's summertime. And then I made a cut back a little too much. So it's drying slow, but it's drying. It's definitely setting up. At least it didn't dry too quick on me and, you know, I wasted half of it, which has happened more than I want to admit through the years, and even recently. So here's that. You can tell when you're in the right, when it's right for sanding, because it won't stick. It won't stick to your paper. You can knock it right back off or blow it off. If it's so gummy it sticks and won't come out, it's still too early. But you know, that's when I was kind of cheese grating a while ago. So you know, the more you do this and get some practice, you know, everybody has their own way of doing it. A lot of people probably don't do this, but I've done it this way for a long time, and I like doing it. So that's how I do it. Now I'm just roughing it down. And it's really easy to sand right now. So that's where I like to really rough one out. When it's you know, just starting to set up. It hasn't got good and hard yet. Now this raised body filler I use, this stuff sands good anyway, even when it's completely dry. It's still very easy to sand. Well, easier than the old body filler. That stuff will get hard to rock. The stuff back in the old days, the 80s, even some of the 90s fillers. The newer fillers, I'm talking up into the late, you know, mid 80s and the 90s, they started coming out with like chromolite and they call them lightweight fillers back in the day. Those were easier to sand. It's easier to sand. This rage is kind of the, you know, child or grandchild of those type of fillers. At least in my opinion, you know. Somebody else may think different. I'm not sanding this hard by any means. I'm just knocking it down. Roughing it in. Alright, we should be able to go ahead and block it on the end now. Let's 80 grit it and see what we get. You hit it, start with 80, or when you block it with 80 grit, that's when you start getting some of the 40 grit scratches out. You're not going to get them all out, but you start getting some of them out. And then really, the filler really starts to get smooth and you can start to really feel what you've got. At least that's how I would describe it. When you're blocking it with 36, you're getting it close, but you're still a little bit, high, or whatever how you want to word it. 80 grit, you're taking just a little bit more off, working it down smoother so you can really feel what you got, knocking some of those 36 or 40 grit scratches out and getting it ready for primer. That's how I've always done it. Some people will block 180. I don't do that. I've never done that. That's not how I was taught. It's just not how I do it. If you want to block it 180 before you prime, go ahead. If you were taught different, this generation nowadays, y'all might be taught totally different than I was taught. It's just how I learned and how I've always done it, and it works for me. I try to get my filler as straight as I can, as straight as I'm able to for my skill level, which is pretty good. I'm not bragging, but I'm pretty good at it. I try to get it as straight as possible before I ever put any primer on it. That way, when I start blocking it with primer, all I'm really going to come up with, hopefully, is some ripples and wrinkles and stuff that you didn't really know were there. Because you had it in 36 and 40, you can work all those down. That's all part of block sanding. That's all part of the art of doing it. Again, everybody has their own way of doing things. That's just my process and what works for me. Places like this where it's working into a curve, you got to watch the edge. You don't want to bite real hard into that edge with either the 36 or the block. I like to use a hand sand. Work the corners some. Again, you may not believe in doing that. That's how I do it. Again, these are not exterior panels. These will show when the hood's open. Some of them will. This up here will a little bit. They're not exterior panels, so they're not. I'm not trying to straighten these to a maybe quite the same straightness is the right word. I would on an exterior panel. I'm still trying to get them straight. Don't take me wrong. I'm just trying to make them look decent from where I was welding and beating and all. You got those weld gouges and the grinder gouges and the hammer marks, trying to smooth all that stuff out. It's not perfect. This is a show truck, guy trying to, win the river award or something crazy like that, which I never will. I have to You know, I have to work on every little seam, every little knick-knack, every little, you know, flaw, which somebody like me is capable of doing. But even I don't take it to that level. Because, you know, I'm not trying to win those show awards. That's for sure. I like to think the work I do is good enough for 95% maybe of the cases out there. It's not regular award material. It's not show car of the year material, that kind of stuff. But it still looks pretty darn good, I think. I mentioned it a couple of times. A couple of the cars I painted back years ago actually won some awards for the paint job. And some local shows, nothing, you know, nothing national or anything like that. But even, you know, on the local level, that's pretty cool. I'm proud of that. One of them was a black car. That thing looked good. Ooh, and I worked my butt off on that car too. But anyway, enough of that. We are just about done here. Let me just use the hand sand because that makes me feel better. I like doing it that way. There's still a few ripples and bubbles in here from hammer marks and stuff, but they're not horrible. I'm not going to worry about getting all that. Most of that's actually a weld where I ground them down. You know, you got little ripples in it a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it. Don't look that bad. You won't see it unless you look under here with the hood open. And even then, a lot of this still will be covered up. You got that molding goes, or that, what's it called? That wire channel goes across here and stuff. And some block sand will help, or primer and blocking will help level some of that out. So, and if for some reason I get primer on it and I decide I don't like it, I'll come back and fix it. But more than likely it's going to be alright. Alright, there we go. I'll grab the camera, hold on. Okay, here we are all wiped. Again, you already seen the fiberglass. So here we are, straightened out, pretty straight. It's not perfect, but for this area over here, it's going to be good enough. And you don't often hear me say that. But it's straight. I mean, it's going to look good. So there's that. Got that area fixed. I mean, you saw it before where it was pretty, you know, there's quite a bit of patchwork and welded in here, and you saw me weld this up on the other video. This has already been, like I said, I've already put filler on this and blocked that. I did a lot of patching down in through here, a lot of rust repair up in here. I think I replaced part of this panel. In fact, well, I'm trying to see if I can find the weld seam. I can't remember. Yeah. There's a weld seam all the way up through here. I replaced a lot of this piece right here. I replaced part of this edge down here too. And I think I know I did some welding here. So I think I replaced part of this. This area of the cowl was very rusty. And of course the kick panel and up under here, yeah, it was really rusty. Now this cab is a really good cab, other than the cowl area up here. And all these cabs from these trucks from these years do this. So it's not anything unusual. The other side, again, I've already worked filler up into here. There was a couple of factory ripples here I fixed. Then my new filler, I just wipe, you know, it works, blocks right into that, feathers right into that. So, yeah, there we go. Well, that's done. Also, while I was wiping this filler, I went ahead and fixed these two ripples right here. You can see that with the glare. I think you can. Let me do glare. Yeah, there's the top one, and then the two right there. The ripples I showed you a while ago. Those are factory. They've been there since day one, so I wanted to block them out. Still got to fix these two little dents right here. That's what the green tape is for. I'll do that off the camera. I ran out of a filler a while ago. So for this video, that's it for this video. Alright, so that's it for this video. I'm not going to show block sanding this. There's enough block sanding and priming on my channel already. If you want to watch some block sanding, I got plenty of videos on block sanding. So the cowl repair, we're going to call it done. Just ignore the fact that I got to block sand it. For all intents and purposes, the cowl repair is done. Yay. As I said earlier, pay no attention to the door. It's not there. Ooh, no, it's not there. Just ignore that. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for being here. Hope you're learning something. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm trying to not talk so much about videos being boring and being long. I need to stop that. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, I won't do it at all, but I'm going to try to quit talking about that and just do my content my way, and hopefully people will like it. And I've been gaining subscribers. I'm gaining a small amount of traction. So to those that are new to you, to the new people that have subscribed and joined my channel, thank you so much. I hope you're liking what you're seeing. Spread the word. Tell your cousins, your friends, your enemies, girlfriends, bad friends, all that good stuff. Spread the word. I'm going to keep doing my stuff my way, and not everybody can be Rat Rod Bob and Fitzy and all these guys that have all these amazing followings, and those guys are great, but I'm not those guys, obviously. So anyhow, I'm rambling again. Thanks for being here. I hope you appreciate it. Thanks for being here. I hope you're learning something. I hope you're enjoying it. Be sure to do the like, comment, subscribe, YouTube stuff, everything, and I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? Hot diggity dog.